Pro golfers are stunned, and fans? Even more so. Charlie Woods just faced one of the toughest moments of his young career, and the golf world is buzzing. The name Woods has long been synonymous with greatness. For decades, Tiger Woods didn't just dominate golf, he redefined it. But now all eyes are shifting to the next in line, his 16-year-old son, Charlie Woods. And while the younger Woods has shown flashes of brilliance, recent events have pulled the rug out from under the hype in a way no one expected. Charlie isn't just any junior golfer. He's been groomed for the spotlight since the first time he swung a club. From walking alongside Tiger at the PNC Championship to being handpicked for elite junior tournaments, Charlie's path to the top has felt preordained. At times, his calm demeanor and natural swing have drawn praise from some of the best players in the world. Golf media outlets haven't held back either, calling him the next big thing before he's even played a full pro round. But here's the thing, being Tiger's son isn't just a blessing, it's also a burden. Because every birdie, every bogey, every slight misstep, it's magnified 100 times over. Charlie's young career has been loaded with expectation. He's played in front of galleries that most junior golfers couldn't even dream of. The cameras, the pressure, the comparisons, they've never let up. And up until recently, he seemed to handle it with the poise of a seasoned pro. But the past few months have started to reveal the cracks. And now things have taken a shocking turn. In the junior circuit, he's held his own. At times, he's even been dominant. His selection for the Junior Invitational at Sage Valley, one of the most prestigious junior tournaments in the world, was a huge vote of confidence from the sport's inner circle. Golf Monthly was quick to spotlight the move, suggesting that Charlie was right where he needed to be, among the most elite prospects in the world. But even with all the hype and all the opportunity, it's clear that the story is no longer one-sided. There's pressure mounting behind the scenes, expectations from all media, and maybe even inside his own camp. Everyone wants Charlie to be Tiger, but without giving him the years, the growth, or the freedom to stumble. And stumble, he has. What's happened in recent weeks has led to whispers in locker rooms, threads across golf Twitter, and even comments from fellow pros. Something went down that's made even seasoned veterans stop and say, that's too much for a kid. Because the next chapter in Charlie Woods' story, it doesn't involve tournament wins or highlight reels. It involves frustration, fan interference, and a performance that left the golf world in disbelief. And this is where the conversation truly begins. From the moment he stepped on the tee box, it just didn't feel right. The expectations were sky high. Charlie Woods, son of the greatest to ever swing a golf club, was stepping onto a stage unlike anything he'd faced before. The Cognizant Classic pre-qualifier wasn't just a junior tournament or an invite-only showcase. This was the real deal, a pathway into a PGA Tour event. The pros were watching, the media was watching, and maybe most of all, the fans were watching. What happened next? No one, and I mean no one, could have predicted it. Charlie shot an 86, a staggering 16 over par that left even the most seasoned golf followers stunned. It wasn't just the score that shocked people, it was how it happened. Because as the round unfolded, it became painfully clear that Charlie wasn't just battling the course. He was battling something much harder to manage: the crowd. According to Yahoo Sports, the environment at the Palm Beach Gardens qualifier quickly spiraled out of control. Spectators swarmed the ropes, cameras were constantly flashing, and, most disturbingly, there were hecklers. Yes, hecklers, at a PGA Tour pre-qualifier involving a 16-year-old. The gallery wasn't there to support. They were there to see something, to get their viral clip, their moment, their headline, and it rattled him. You could see it in the body language, the fidgeting, the unsettled rhythm. The normally fluid swing started to look rushed, tight, defensive. Every hole became a grind, not just against par, but against a crowd that didn't seem to know where the line was. Yahoo's report pulled no punches, stating, "The chaos surrounding Charlie Woods was unlike anything typically seen in pre-qualifying events. The large gallery and the disruptive behavior absolutely affected his focus and composure." And here's the thing, this wasn't just a bad round. For a 16-year-old trying to earn a spot in a professional field, this wasn't just a bad round. It was chaos. The result? A performance that not only shocked golf fans, but left a stain on what could have been a huge moment for the young Woods. The potential to prove himself against grown men, to make a statement, to silence the doubters, it was all washed away in a sea of distractions, bad etiquette, and pressure that no teenager should ever be expected to carry. And while the internet was quick to pile on, the truth is brutally simple. Charlie didn't choke. He was thrown to the wolves. This wasn't a quiet pre-qualifier with a few loyal fans watching from a distance. This was a media circus, a high-stakes environment with the worst parts of celebrity culture thrown into a setting that's supposed to be about focus, routine, and self-discipline. The round ended in frustration. Charlie walked off the 18th looking visibly defeated, surrounded by cameras, microphones, and whispers. And while most junior golfers would be forgotten after a performance like that, he's not most junior golfers. For better or worse, every swing Charlie makes is now headline-worthy. And this disastrous round at the Cognizant Classic? It's just the beginning of a deeper conversation about pressure, protection, and how much is too much. The golf world didn't stay silent after Charlie Woods' rough outing at the Cognizant Classic. In fact, it's been quite the opposite. From PGA Tour pros to anonymous insiders, the reactions started pouring in almost as soon as Charlie's 86 was posted on the leaderboard. And what's become very clear very quickly is that everyone has something to say. Some were sympathetic, others less so, but nearly all agreed on one thing: what Charlie experienced out there wasn't fair. Golf WRX described the event as a circus, pointing out the sheer volume of fans and the lack of crowd control that turned a standard pre-qualifier into a spectacle. According to one former pro quoted anonymously, this wasn't a tournament, it was a public experiment, and the subject was a teenager. Let that sink in. This is a kid who isn't even old enough to drive himself to the course. A kid who didn't ask for global fame. He was born into it. And now every bad swing is a headline. Every missed fairway is dissected by fans who've likely never faced the pressure of teeing it up in front of a gallery that big. So the question has to be asked, is the golf world setting Charlie up to fail, or just holding him to an impossible standard? Veteran players have weighed in with caution. One quote from a Golf Monthly contributor reads, "What Charlie went through in Florida is something most pros don't face until the weekend of a major. He's still figuring out who he is as a player. Let the kid breathe." Even Tiger's former peers, those who've played alongside the elder Woods during the height of his dominance, have quietly hinted at concern. They've seen how brutal this sport can be mentally. And when you mix that with media frenzy, generational expectations, and the weight of a legendary surname, it's a recipe for burnout. But not everyone is throwing out sympathy. Some critics believe Charlie needs to toughen up. One sports radio segment even asked if he's just another hyped-up name with no game to back it up. That kind of commentary may make headlines, but it totally misses the point. Charlie's story is still being written. We're watching a young athlete try to grow under a microscope that most full-grown pros would crumble under. And to his credit, he hasn't backed away. He hasn't quit. He's shown up, competed, and taken the hits publicly. The real issue here isn't whether Charlie can make it. The issue is whether the system around him will let him. If every round becomes a referendum on his future, if every tournament becomes an audition for greatness, then we've already failed him. Golf is as much mental as it is physical. And the truth is, this pressure, this relentless attention, might shape Charlie's mental game more than any swing coach ever could. The challenge ahead isn't just about performance. It's about resilience, balance, and surviving the spotlight without letting it define you. Because if we're being honest, this isn't just about golf anymore. For a while, the Charlie Woods story was all spark and promise. The name alone carried enough weight to make golf fans dream of another Woods era, and every swing he took came wrapped in headlines. But as the tournaments rolled on, reality began to hit hard, because it hasn't just been one rough outing. First came the U.S. Junior Amateur, one of the biggest stages in the junior golf world. Charlie entered with a fanfare, buzz, and expectation. But after 2 rounds, an 82 and an 80, He missed the cut by 18 strokes. For someone who's been hailed as golf's next prodigy, that result wasn't just disappointing, it was eye-opening. Then came his shot at the big leagues. The US Open local qualifier. The pressure? Immense. The field? Loaded. The result? A 9-over par 81, and once again, Charlie's name was buried on the leaderboard. 2 big chances, 2 missed cuts, and the buzz, it turned into a split. Because now the golf world is divided. On one side, there's the realists, the ones who say, he's 16, what were we expecting? These are the fans who understand that Tiger didn't win majors at this age either. They point to the long road ahead and remind everyone that golf is a slow burn, not a sprint. Then there are the critics, those who see the last name, the media coverage, the sponsorship buzz, and wonder, is this all hype? Some have started questioning whether Charlie's game is as special as the branding suggests. Others argue that if you're going to play on the big stages, you've got to be ready for big-time scrutiny. But here's the thing that no one wants to admit. This isn't the domination many expected, but maybe it's the dose of realism we all need. Charlie isn't out here posting record-breaking rounds. He's not cruising to trophies. He's struggling. And that's exactly what makes this story more human and honestly more relatable. Because what we're seeing now isn't just another privileged kid in a famous shadow. We're seeing a young player learning how hard greatness actually is. The numbers don't lie. According to AP News, Charlie's score in the US Open qualifier put him well outside contention. And as reported by People, his junior amateur performance fell short of expectations. But again, he showed up. And sometimes in golf, that's more important than the leaderboard. Because here's the truth, golf humbles everyone. Tiger's had missed cuts, Rory's been off form, even the greats have had slumps, and Charlie's just getting started. If anything, these moments might be the most important part of his development. They're the lessons that won't show up in a highlight reel, but they'll shape the next chapter. So where does he go from here? Does he let the pressure get to him, or does he use it as fuel? The next few tournaments won't just be about performance. They'll be about mentality. Because the question isn't whether Charlie Woods can play golf. It's whether he can survive everything else that comes with the name. Charlie Woods has taken the hits, the missed cuts, the brutal scores, the headlines, the noises. And now all eyes are shifting to what's next. That what's next just happens to be one of the most prestigious junior golf events in the world, the Junior Invitational at Sage Valley. This tournament isn't a fun run. It's not a friendly showcase for young talent. It's elite, cutthroat, and filled with the very best junior golfers on the planet. Some of the names in this field are already being watched by college recruiters, equipment brands, and agents. For Charlie, it's not just a chance to compete. It's a chance to reset the narrative. Because right now, the narrative isn't pretty. From the cognizant classic collapse to the missed cuts in national qualifiers, Charlie's 2024 season has been a humbling one. But Sage Valley represents something different. A clean slate, a quieter environment, and maybe, just maybe, the right kind of pressure. So the question is, how does Team Woods respond? Tiger has been there every step of the way. He's walked the fairways, studied Charlie's swing, and been the calm in the storm. But now, with the pressure mounting and the headlines growing louder, the dynamic shifts. Will Tiger take a step back to let Charlie breathe? Or will he double down and sharpen the competitive edge that built the Woods empire in the first place? That's what the golf world is watching for. Because this isn't just about swing mechanics or course management anymore. It's about resilience. It's about how a young player, born into greatness, handles failure. It's about how a father who conquered the game helps his son navigate its most brutal lessons. In Sage Valley, it might be the perfect test. It's competitive without being chaotic, respected without the case of a pro-level gallery. For Charlie, it's a chance to compete on merit, without fans screaming his name or cameras tracking his every move. It's golf, pure and simple. But the pressure, still very real, because no matter how quiet the grounds are, everyone watching knows what this tournament means. It's a moment of truth, a chance to show that the setbacks were just part of the journey and not the final destination. And if Charlie performs, it could change everything. A solid showing at Sage Valley would shift the conversation from failure to growth, from overhype to potential, from Tiger's son to Charlie Woods. But if it goes the other way, if the struggles continue, if the pressure mounts again, if the scorecard reads disappointment one more time, then the questions get even louder. All eyes are on Sage Valley. Will it be redemption or more shock? Together, let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.